Greetings, Sugahbee. Thanks for joining my channel today. This is your reader, Michaela Renee. And I have a very interesting read that I'm using from the Afro Tarot by Jesse Jumanji. Now, this is messages. Very good. This is messages from the ancestors. And I always find it interesting when I ask in general for direction for the diaspora, or what condition are we in? Well, we a lot of times know the condition that we're in, the circumstances that we face. However, we may tend to um, uh, glass over it or not come to terms with it because we're all caught up in our own individual stories. So it's really interesting. The first card that I pulled is the Page of Pentacles. And this Page of Pentacles is very interesting. It says, it's literally saying it's very immature thinking when it comes to the collective. And we're talking about the household, everything mundane, everything about us. We're really immature when it comes to that. And it causes a great deal of damage within our communities because we have not figured out how to work together. There's different causes, like we see, BLM causes, and I can give some various other causes like the NAACP or whatever. But for the most part, it seems like all of these organizations seem to be working against one another, not for the people, and then they have their own ulterior motive in regards to this, and it boils down to money. And so because of that, we're always at odds with each other. You see that card, Three of Wands? We're always at odds. And it doesn't make for good good support, or we can't evolve into a better, thriving community of the children of the ancestors, right? We still are pitted against one another, and so we can't get anywhere, which is why the Eight of Wands showed up reversed. Because usually this is about taking flight, movement, going somewhere, but we can't. We can't. It's because we have not learned how to work with one another. So then in asking the ancestors, so what does that mean? Well, Temperance shows up, and I call her the water cooler chick because she's there. She's sitting there waiting to hear a message so she can go report it, or, she's kind of sitting on the fence, but this card showed up reverse. So when I asked the ancestors in my own spirit, so what do we have to do to shift from this position of this selfishness right here? Literally, we have to get up off the fence and not pick sides, so to speak. I'm going to be with this group, or I'm going to be with that group, but actually working together for a common good, for a common goal. It's very interesting. I was listening to the Kenyan president, and he has, at this current point, removed the need for visa to be in Kenya. If you're the diaspora traveling into Kenya, or if you're a Kenyan going from different cities in Kenya, like let's say Nairobi, then you don't need a visa, whereas you did before. So this would be for the common good of the people, right, that he made this move. He made a very interesting factual point that all humanity came from the soil of Kenya. So therefore, our coming back home would be impeded if they had visas that people couldn't afford, because it's not just a visa for you, but if you have children, it's a visa for you, your mate, your children, your parents, etc. if you're traveling, right? So those fees add up. Well, so is he working for the collective? Absolutely. So he's setting a great example, and that's the president of Kenya. Now, the Nine of Swords shows up, and it shows up reverse, which actually is a great card. It says, in asking, what do we need to do? First, get off the fence, make a decision, and then move in a way that your decision shows that you've escaped the negative aspects of not working together, right? That now you are collectively coming back together, that we are coming back together. We're looking for one another's advantage. I find it very interesting that in the diaspora of women, um, we may not work very well with helping another woman to raise up. We don't want to give her the flowers, right? We are looking at what she has said or what she does and judge that woman for her accomplishments. And the fact that that woman would even speak on her own accomplishments is a bad thing. So, if and I've had that happen where even for myself, someone would judge me because I'm speaking on my own accomplishments. But if I don't speak on my accomplishments, who will? Right? So we have to get to a place where we get up from under that threat. And then here, Nine of Cups shows up, and it shows up reversed, which is actually great because this card can be a little bit selfish, right? Self-indulgent, but we're going to let go of being selfish. We're going to let go of those emotions that are tied to, let's just say, manipulative behavior. And some people may say this one's manipulative, that one's manipulative, but we don't know that. And so we need to judge less and think about our own self. Think about whether we can show up for ourselves and how does that look in helping another person, in supporting other people to win, right? So therefore it's not self-driven or selfish, but it is driven in wanting and desiring for your sister and your neighbor to thrive just as much as you would like to thrive. And what will come about it? This is answer from the ancestors, the Emperor. You'll actually reestablish your household. We will establish our household of African indigenous power and structure and support. And we will be happy that each one is winning in the capacity of whatever they're doing, that they do well. And then we can celebrate that. It's unfortunate that as people in the diaspora, women in the diaspora, that we tend to say with our lips, but our heart does not match. Well, we'll say that, oh, I really want her to do well, but our heart doesn't do that. We'll find some way to pick out that person so that there's no way they can stand. And this is why that Page of Pentacles shows up as very immature. Our relationships with one another are still very immature, and a lot of that has to do with the climate and the environment that we came up in. And some of our family members, a lot of our family members, came up through slavery, and then some didn't. Or those that are in slavery, some were in the field and some weren't. Some look like this and some look like that. So we have to get past these issues so that we can actually reestablish our household. And it's not just our household, it's the household of the ancestors. And no, all the ancestors didn't get along, tribes didn't get along. So this is not just for today, because we carry the energy of our ancestors. And so there are certain groups of ancestors that didn't get along. But do you not think that even then some were literally at a place to say, can we have peace? Can there be peace so that we can thrive, so that there's enough water for our family and for our cattle, so that there is enough place for us to lay our head down? Absolutely. So think about that this over the weekend, how we can allow a celebration. Let me just say it that way. How we can allow that celebration within ourselves for someone else. Allow them to have their flowers and share and support and evolve and thrive so that we can fortify our households together in a bond that's strong, literally like Kenya is doing in its own country. Thanks. I will see you on Monday with the next message from the ancestors. Ashe.